Hello there, Goose. This is a Sunday afternoon, I think it is. I've just forgotten. But all days seem similar to me at the moment. So this is the time we meet. I wonder if you've met Andrew Doughty. I don't think you have you?
No.
He says you haven't. But anyway, he helps me with these things. And this is the moment on a Sunday afternoon when I get a chance to shout at you all the news, which, when it's what's happening in the world, and what we're glad about and when we're not glad about, you know it better than I do, because you've, well, you know the story of your working life, that your husband died leaving you with 3 small children, and you've jolly well had to manage. The youngest of those 3 small children is now anyway, I forget ages, but anyhow, you're in fact the smallest of the 3 children. I think that's right, and Robin and Christopher are the elders. Anyhow, it has worked out wonderfully, thanks to your ingenuity and perseverance and so on, and cleverness, because you get jobs and so on, and so here we are. As you know, I've had my 100th, and probably sound sillier than ever, but I am able to, thanks to friends who do the little shopping runs for me, and other essential things, like changing light bulbs, which are too high for me to reach without the stepladder or something, which I don't really care for. One's just been changed a minute ago, and little things like that keep me going on, and I get the CDs of the Bible lessons. As you know, you probably get them yourself, yes, and they do them very well, and they're an enormous comfort and pleasure. So I guess you have the same. And I've got all of May now, so they do run well ahead, and I think I've subscribed for a year. I'm sure I can get all of June when I need it anyway from the, if anything, if I haven't ordered it, which I think I have, I could get it from the reading room. We haven't got a Churchill reading room in Leicester, but there is in Nottingham, which is not a million miles away, and on the telephone. So, you know, I've got my provisions of that kind laid on, and my provisions from the shops. Friends nip down and do shopping runs for me for things to eat and so on, and in fact, it's an economical way of living. I can't help saving, which is a shocking thing that I haven't done much before in my life. But it's also because I haven't got someone living in, isn't it? That I reckon that cost me £4,000 a year. But that's just a bit of a guess. But that's to insure you in case you do the same yourself. That's about what it costs to have someone else living with you. Of course, it's worth it if it makes all the difference. Anyhow, I know pretty well that they won't let you retire, although they're smarter than the Brits are getting it enacted, aren't they? We don't expect to get the higher retiring age enacted until the 26th. Until 2026, because they're advancing it by 1 year every 2 years. A lot of legislation, but it keeps any one generation of people from finding that they suddenly thought they were going to retire next year and they're not going to retire for another 5 years. That would be a bit of a shock. But the Aussies have faced it, so we could face it too. But we're in fact meaning that everybody will just get lengthened by 1 year. Nobody will get a more than 1 year extension. So to his working time. So that's that, and you probably know about it because you're a great student of political values, and you always have been. But I just wonder if you, well, you're a Brit, aren't you, really, originally? So you'll keep an interest in what they're doing. And they're doing, well, the whole world, I thank heaven, seems to me more, there are no Hitlers and Mussolinis and people that want a war. It seems to me as though the horror of war is over, that nobody wants a war now, even if they want changes. We're all a bit too civilized to want to get them at such a terrible cost. So I think that's what we did for you in the 20th century. We're in the 21st now, aren't we? We made the possibility of war so appalling, and democracy has advanced in countries like Germany and Italy, where they had dictators. Got no more dictators left in the big countries anyway. So there we are. We've left you a better world. And of course, I haven't quite left you now. This business needs some work. I'm sure I've told you that the general fact that death has been finished with, and we've just got to progress. We won't. The future is not a last judgment day for everybody as they die, and then they go up or they go down or they stay still. It's that's all gone. we're just improving now until we're perfect, and then we're eternal. So it's I don't know if we've banished the practice of dying, but we've banished the theory of it, and the practice will follow in your generation, follow in a little while, even if it can't follow now. But maybe it's, it's one of the things I keep on board. And I also keep on board distant Aussie land and all the things that are going on over there. And, Queensland seems a wonderful place to be, that coast, except for natural phenomena like cyclones, which I understand a lot better now what it is in a cyclone that generates the violence. It is in fact that little sparks of heat can vaporize little sparks of water in the atmosphere, and they occupy 10,000 times the volume of space, at least they want to, once they've been vaporized. And this creates violent explosions all the time. But I'm glad you've retired home now. You had a really, a shockingly violent period, didn't you, when you went forth, partly on your own account and partly because of a government job that you could do, finding accommodation for people and that sort of thing. I'm so glad now that you've done that. You're back home. So I'm back home as well, and you'll no doubt tell me all the things that happened back home. Good things in Queensland, but that coast is a shocker to think about. Cyclones that can move in from the sea and so on, but anyway, you're through it, you've survived. So that's a thing to give thanks about. And now you'll get back to life based on home. And but I think you've still got plenty of things to do for the state. I think you're still employed by the state, and we'll have plenty to do. But at least you're living at home, and you've got friends, I don't doubt, and shop's not far away like me. And I've got friends that go down to them with shopping runs and so on my behalf, so that I'm well looked after and likely to carry on for a bit. Well, this is the question. We ought to face up to the fact, which will be faced up with in your lifetime, that there's no death anymore. We've jolly well got to carry on improving step by step until we're perfect, and then suddenly we're eternal. So that's, what happens. No conquering out and having your decision to go up or go down made on the basis of, some judgments. We've just got to go up and forever. And I'll meet you one day. And, sorry, that was just a twinge in my, I nearly fell over a couple of days ago, and in saving myself, I seem to have strained a few muscles, which are getting better now, I'm pretty well okay, but night before last I couldn't sleep. So, but last night I could. So there we are. All is well, and I look forward to hearing from you again. And enormous love, as usual, and goodbye from David.